Welcome to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. I'm your host Johnny Rogers, and in today's video we'll be breaking down some of the best improvised moments in cinema history. But before we get into that, if you don't want to miss another daily video from us, make sure you tap that subscribe button to join our notification squad. Now without any further delay, let's get right into today's list of the top 10 improvised movie moments. In at number 10, Clueless. Donald Faison is a hilarious actor, and some of his best moments in films was whenever he would improvise scenes. For example, was when he played Murray in Clueless, and during a scene where his friend Lawrence is shaving his head, he had to react to his girlfriend freaking out. Apparently, he had overheard kids in his neighborhood using the saying, "keeping it real," so when it came down to explaining why he was doing what he was doing, he just kept repeating that line over and over again.
Why did you do this to your head?
Because I'm keeping it real. Because I'm keeping it real.
Look what he's done to his head. Can you believe this?
Look at Lawrence's head. Alright?
It's the bomb!
It was a scene that just kept layering memorable line on top of memorable line, which all started with Donald simply improvising that iconic movie line. In at number 9, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Chamber of Secrets was based on J.K. Rowling's 1998 novel of the same name. The film was the second installment in the Harry Potter film series, and while filming poor Tom Felton, he forgot his lines. Tom played Draco Malfoy, who in his younger years was sassy before we even began to understand what being sassy was. He always had these snide, bullyish remarks that fit in his Slytherin character just so well, and in this scene in particular, Tom approaches his fellow bullies Crabble and Goyle, but he blanks on the final line. He first asks him why he's wearing glasses, but then improvises the line that follows, which actually turned out to be one of his favorite lines of the entire series. Mine too.
Why are you wearing glasses?
Reading.
Reading? I didn't know you could read.
In at number 8, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Gene Wilder will forever be a legend in the acting world. He was as eccentric as he was brilliant, and more than that, he understood the psychology of acting. The story of this film was that Willy Wonka had been in hiding for a very long time. So when the kids and their guardians arrived at the factory's front entrance with their golden tickets in hand, he needed to make it a spectacle of sorts. Not only that, but he needed to set the stage for what would come following this. Gene understood that he needed to appear warm and welcoming, but also have an air of deception about him. In order to get this message across to audiences, Gene improvised his approach to the entrance. As he hobbled over, showing that age had taken its toll, he suddenly did a somersault right in front of them. This would further cement the idea in audiences' minds that while he may seem innocent, he is still capable of deception. In at number 7, Midnight Cowboy. According to Dustin Hoffman, when they were filming the movie Midnight Cowboys back in 1969, they were doing it amongst actual traffic. Nowadays, for safety purposes, these types of exterior shoots are very coordinated so that stuff like I'm about to show you doesn't happen. I mean, thank God it did, because it birthed a hilarious and iconic line. However, we can also sympathize with the executives wanting to make sure that their talent are safe and secure while on set. They had just done this scene multiple times, but it kept getting delayed because of their surroundings. So when they finally nailed the scene, Hoffman was all psyched up. Then out of nowhere, a taxi driver almost runs into them as they're walking across the street, which prompts Dustin Hoffman to slam the car and yell, "I'm walking here!"
They have some kind of middleman, and that's where old Daniel comes in, you know what I mean? I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
In at number 6, The Shining. The Shining is still one of the creepiest movies I have ever seen, and a big part of that was the insane brilliance of Jack Nicholson.
Here's Johnny!
Jack Nicholson's character in the film was named Jack, not Johnny, but he ad-libbed the line "Here's Johnny" as an imitation of announcer Ed McMahon's famous introduction of Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show. Director Stanley Kubrick, who had been living in England since before Carson took over The Tonight Show, had really no idea what the cultural significance of "Here's Johnny" meant. But soon it would become so iconic that Carson himself even used that clip of Nicholson as the introduction to one of his annual anniversary specials. It's pretty GOAT status right there if you ask me. In at number 5, Aladdin. Sadly, I don't think there will ever be someone like Robin Williams, and thankfully his brilliance has been bottled up in fantastic films like Aladdin. During an interview with Disney animator Eric Goldberg, he was asked if Robin did any improvisation during the movie, for which Eric replied, "That would be like saying, did you see the Pope wearing his vestments?" Most of the lines in that film were improvised, and the animators absolutely loved it because it gave them a real opportunity to bring his various voices to life. He was switched so seamlessly from a game show host to an evangelist with a comedic confidence unlike anything we've ever witnessed. His Pinocchio bit in the film was simply based on one of their recording sessions, and they loved it so much that they actually found a way to go back and edit it into the film. Although my favorite scene that Robin improvised was his impressions of Rodney Dangerfield and Jack Nicholson.
That's a good move. I can't believe it. I'm losing to a rug.
Here's the deal. If you want to court the little lady, you gotta be a straight shooter. Do you got it?
In at number 4, Pretty Woman. During an interview with the American Film Institute, director Gary Marshall spoke about how actor Richard Gere would constantly challenge him to always outdo the hilarious lines written in the script. In one scenario, Julia Roberts improvised that the play that they just saw was so funny that she almost peed her pants. It was so funny and so honest that everyone on set loved it, but Richard knew that they could take that to another place and get an even bigger laugh from it. Although that is just one example, perhaps the best improvised scene in this film was the iconic jewelry box scene. Gary himself loves pranks, and he wanted to shoot a lot of improvised scenes to give his actors room to fly, but he also secretly wanted to use those clips for gag reels. The night before the scene was shot, Julia was out partying to celebrate her birthday, so the next day she was a little tired. Gary pulled Richard aside and said, "For this scene, do something with the box that'll wake her up a bit." And sure enough, when Julia began to reach for the shiny new bracelet that Richard's character was giving to her as a gift, he quickly slammed the box shut on her hand.
It's only a loan.
It sparked such a genuine surprise and honest laughter from Julia that they actually decided to keep it in the film. In at number 3, The Departed. Coming in for a second time on our list is the man himself, Jack Nicholson. His character in The Departed was a seriously twisted dude and a man that had clearly led a life of crime for so long that he no longer had any doubts that what he was doing was wrong in any way. He perfectly articulated just how emotionless a true mobster could be when it came to taking people out. Not only that, but how at a certain point his twisted sense of humor would become his coping mechanism. Originally, they were just supposed to shoot these people on the beach and then walk away. However, Jack asked if they could do it again, but this time he wanted the young woman to fall on top of the man after she was shot. They were all a little confused on set, that is, until Jack improvised the line of, "Huh, she fell funny," which was only followed by a fit of laughter.
Jeez. She fell funny.
Francis, you really should see somebody.
Psychotic laughter. In at number 2, Django Unchained. Say what you will about Quentin Tarantino, but the man knows when to keep the cameras rolling, and thankfully in this scene he made sure to keep it locked on Leonardo DiCaprio, thus capturing a moment in cinematic history that will never be forgotten. When Django and Dr. Schultz are attempting to negotiate with Calvin Candy, Calvin suspects that they are attempting to fool him. In a fit of rage, Leo slams his hands down on the table, except when he did this, he accidentally smashed a glass which sliced his hand wide open. The blood on his hand was real, the pain of the glass cutting into his hand was real, and what followed could only have been possible because of how dedicated this man is to his craft.
Hey! Lay your palms flat on that tabletop! If you lift those palms off that turtle shell tabletop, Mr. Pooch is gonna let loose with both barrels that sawed off.
Last but certainly not least, in our number 1 spot, Fast and Furious 6. The Rock is no stranger to talking smack. I mean, it was pretty much his entire career for a very long time. Especially considering that in front of an audience of 30,000 in attendance and millions watching at home, there was no time for a second take. This inherently built this muscle of being able to improvise from moment to moment and still crack out some very memorable lines. When it came to filming Fast and Furious 6, Dwayne Johnson improvised a line that actually made Ludacris spit his drink out from laughing so hard.
Hey Mia, you better hide your baby or... I'm just playing. You better hide that big forehead. I was just joking.
With that, let's check out some of your comments from the video titled Why Hollywood Needs to Cast John Boyega. MLG Gamer says, I didn't see the speech, but I've heard about it around. He's officially one of my favorite actors of all time. Put him at number 1 on that list if you ever choose to revisit it. You gotta check out his speech. I mean, it's just filled with so much passion and heart, and I would happily put him as the number 1 spot on any list that I think he fits into. Prep for it says, John Boyega has always been epic. Now I guess ultimate epic? Ultimate epic is the perfect description of what John Boyega is. Thank you for that. Cal Kenobi 83 says, I will continue to support his career. He just wants betterment of the system and his people. I applaud that. Cal, you are a gem of a human. We should all support this man from here on out. He clearly knows how to use his voice for good. Not many celebrities do. Rosemary says he shouldn't be canceled for believing and standing up for those beliefs. Couldn't have said it better myself, Rosemary. Spot on with this comment. Emily QS says, it's great to see someone finally capable of rallying people together like the civil rights leaders of yesteryear. Much love to John Boyega. Yeah, I got some serious chills from watching that speech. It truly is history in the make, whether we recognize it or not. And that has been the top 10 improvised movie moments. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to our editors for all of your hard work. I know it's tough editing me. If you enjoyed this video, then please show us some love here by tapping that like and subscribe button. Plus, don't forget to leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on today's list. And for more videos like this one, all you gotta do is tap that playlist when it pops up. From Top 10 Beyond the Screen, my name is Johnny Rogers, saying until next time, stay classy. Lots of bloopers. Sorry, waiting for it to scroll. Now, without any further delay, let's get right into today's list, the top 10. Top 10? Tom played Draco Malfoy, who in his younger years was sassy before sassy, blah, blah, blah. Just read the words. I hate when I do that. Please play video 6 seconds to 16 seconds. God, I hope we can play those, or none of this is gonna make sense. And he was just so like, he was as eccentric. Okay. Jack Nicholson. Gonna do it again. Whew, big breath. Director Gary Marshall spoke about how actor Richard Gere, I always mess his name up. Richard Gere? Gere. I want to say Greer every time. When Django and Dr. Schultz are attempting to so many false starts. Scroll and let's go. Prep for it. Nope, that's the name of the next person. There's just no break. Okay, I'm just gonna do that last line again because that was really weird.